The B. Fisher Foundation in Lloydminster is having their final New Year's Gala and held a press conference to unveil their new theme, New Year's in Las Vegas. The B. Fisher Foundation, for those unaware, is a foundation dedicated to helping individuals suffering from developmental disabilities. Kim Crockett, Marketing and Business Coordinator for the foundation, is eager as well as optimistic that they will reach their goal this year of $100,000.
So largely what's going to do is it's going to continue to do upgrade and improvement projects at our 24-hour care homes here in Lloyd. So specifically, it could be things like flooring, countertops, additional kitchen renovations, any improvements that our care homes needs, that's where the funding is going to be going to.
Last year, the gala raised nearly $90,000, and with the team maintaining its annual sponsors, the foundation recognizes it would not be here today without that support.
All of the sponsors that we had today, they have been with us, with one exception, they have been with us all 3 years. And each year, you always need some funds to get these events off the ground. And so these are the businesses that are able to and willing to come out and say, you know what, we believe in what cause that you've got here in Lloydminster. We're going to help you get this event off the ground again.
Despite it being the last New Year's Gala, the B. Fisher Foundation will remain an active part in the community. The Lloydminster Rotary Club is back this week with another special guest. The club was visited by Paul Richer today to discuss the takeaways from last Thursday's Alberta-Saskatchewan Public Health meeting.
We had, in my view, I think about 120, 130 people at our meeting, which I was encouraged. We had great representation from Saskatchewan Health and Alberta Health there, and there was a lot of good sharing.
Health officials from Alberta and Saskatchewan gathered to hear the community's concerns about health services in Lloydminster, with issues such as a lack of emergency room beds being brought to the light. The community was able to speak their minds on the future of medical care in the border city.
When some of the questions came out, the audience came up with applause a couple of times, and one in particular was medical file sharing. Canadians move across the country all the time, or even province to province. We're at the epicenter because we see it all the time. It's a day in, day out issue here because blood work on one side of the province just does not get to the other side. It just doesn't happen. And there are a lot of privacy issues, and we hear more about it now with internet and everything else. However, it really lends itself to maybe a gap that's happening in our country, and I'm hoping to eventually get it that maybe we could be the solution and not the problem in Lloydminster.
Paul believes community awareness is the best way to get the message out and hopes to keep the discussion on public health active in the community. It's time now for this week's Retrospect. Here is Jace Mackey.
Starting off Retrospect in 1994, we meet a pair of farmers who think ostriches are the wave of the future.
For the best investment for your money, think ostrich.
Farmers in northeastern Alberta are flocking to the ostrich industry. A group called the Lakeland Ostrich Producers has even been set up to offer support and provide information. Dorothy and Werner Giesler have been in the ostrich business for just over a year. They were successful dairy farmers when they decided to switch over to ostriches.
People around here, they look for alternative agricultures to go into, and like the ostrich is very well suited for acreage owners. You don't need a large land base. You know, like you can have 5-10 acres, and you can have a few birds on your property and make a real high return on very little land.
Right now, it's still a breeder's market, but the Gieslers say besides the leather and the feathers, eventually the meat is going to take off.
I'm very convinced that that people will just flock to that meat because it'll be only served in kind of better restaurants, you know, like upscale restaurants, and then slowly it will trickle down to the food shelves. But that will take maybe 10 years to, come down to a real market, in the supermarkets.
They say in these health-conscious times, ostrich meat is the wave of the future.
The meat is a red meat, very low in fat and cholesterol, and it tastes like similar tasting like veal, and very good.
And although the meat may be more expensive than good old Alberta beef, producers say in the end it will be worth it.
I'd say about a 30% premium, because it's a better meat than beef, we feel. But we can have already made projections right down to the beef prices, and still we have a very attractive returns.
Including some boarders, the Gieslers have about 80 ostriches on 100 acres of land. But they say to get started in the business, all you need is a breeding pair and a little room.
And moving forward to 1998, motorists deal with an all too common problem: construction on 44th Street.
Border City drivers have been experiencing a few headaches today as crews continue to work on one of the city's main drags. As of this afternoon, traffic was down to one lane from 50th Avenue East on 44th Street. Crews have been hard at work since Friday morning, and just before noon today, milling of the section was completed, allowing workers now to focus solely on resurfacing. Traffic in the south lane has been diverted to the north lane and reduced to one lane in both directions. Once the asphalt on the south lane has cooled, officials at ASL Paving say they will switch things around tomorrow, but traffic will still be down to one lane either way. The job is expected to last until Thursday, but traffic flow will be a determining factor. Drivers are being encouraged to make use of detours and alternate routes in the meantime. The delays and closures haven't only created problems for motorists, though. Business was slow at the Petro-Canada on 44th today.
They started on a Friday, which I wasn't too crazy about, but it probably is the right time of the year to do it. It's the summer rush is over. My only concern is how long it's going to take till they're finished, but in the long run, it's nice to have the new paving.
Timing has also proved to be a problem for some of the businesses and added to the inconvenience.
Considering that there's a heavy oil show at the middle of this week and there's an upgrader shutdown, it's a little bit not so convenient at the moment for the masses that are here, but they're, as I said, they're managing, so what can you do? You got to work around everybody's schedule.
Many businesses we talked to today did not want to comment on camera, but most did agree the construction has affected their business. Joey's Only actually closed down on Sunday because of the construction, while the Olympia restaurant recorded about a 25% drop in business. The most common complaint seems to be about the lack of notice, but the businesses also agree that the short-term inconvenience will be worth it in the long run.
This has been our look back at this week in retrospect.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermilion.
We'll have more Primetime local news after the break.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
Abby St. John is at Border Paws Animal Shelter for a weekly edition of Pet Project.
I'm back at Border Paws Animal Shelter for another edition of Pet Project, a day early. Not typical Tuesday, but we are on a Monday, and today we have the most gorgeous girl named Carly here. She is absolutely the sweetest girl ever, and she's very well behaved and well trained despite how young she is. So tell me a little bit about how she got here and a bit about her personality.
So Carly has been here since June. She is about 3 years old, and she's picky about some treats, but very food motivated and very smart. She has a strong sit and lay down command. Yeah, she came in as a stray from the city of Lloyd, but she's so eager to please, very playful. She'd make a great like walking or running partner and would be great for going on hikes and adventures because she is up for anything. She's been around kids. We haven't had her around toddlers, so we would recommend like older kids, but really she seems very well-rounded and friendly with everyone, so we don't really have any concerns about her. She hasn't been cat tested, but she seems totally calm around the shelter cats and has never shown any fixation or overexcitement about them. And she's quite good with other dogs. Carly. She's good with other dogs as long as you're doing a proper introduction and making sure that they greet each other nicely. But yeah, she's a really nice dog and is going to make someone a great companion.
And you had mentioned like the younger kids, you know, maybe being older. And that's not to say that she's aggressive with young kids. It's just she's super excited.
Exactly.
And maybe might not know her own size, which a lot of bigger dogs don't. And typically bigger dogs are your typical lap dogs. They just want to, they don't know their size. They just want to sit on you. But
and yeah, she's
they
been
can come
around.
in.
Yeah, she's been actually around, like, I think it was an 8 or 10-year-old kid that met her and she didn't jump up or anything. Like, she's very good about sitting to be petted. As you can see, she's very sweet. So she's going to be a great addition to any family.
And of course, families with kids can come in and meet her and interact with her before they decide if she's the right fit and stuff, which I think she would be, because this whole time we've been here, she's just been so sweet, and she does take commands very well.
Yeah.
Despite being only 3 years old, you know, she's very, very well trained, and you'd say that she's potty trained as well too.
Yeah, she is house trained and everything. I don't know for sure if she's kennel trained, but she seems calm enough that I think she'd pick it up very quickly. What are you doing? Come here. Can you sit?
And health-wise?
Very healthy. We don't have really any food concerns, no allergies that we're aware of. She just likes some treats more than others. She's like deciding whether she wants it.
She's just a bit of a picky eater.
Exactly.
Which is typical, and you know, a lot of kids are picky eaters too.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always ways around it and to find out what they like and what they don't like.
Yeah.
Now speaking, you know, on dogs, we've mentioned a few times, but it is the first annual event of this, so it's nice to just continue talking about it. But your first annual Walk for Paws is coming up again in a couple of weeks. How is that going vendor-wise and, you know, sign-up-wise?
Going really well. So far, we've dropped off pledge sheets and posters to pretty much every pet store we could think of and vet clinic in town, and then going to different businesses as well. So you can pick those up anywhere. We also have them at the shelter for anybody that wants to stop by and grab a poster for their place of work. We have Lloyd Animal Hospital as our main sponsor, and then we've got Classic Oilfield as our sponsor for the barbecue. We have Pet Planet in Lloydminster and Puppy Love have become our bronze sponsors. So we're really excited, and it's starting to all develop, and we're really excited to have our first annual one.
Yes, it's going to be super exciting and a great way to just get out with your dogs and just enjoy the outdoors. Now, you had a community night where you were opening up to volunteer signups, and you have volunteer submissions that you kind of are going through. So tell me about the process, and if people are watching this and have signed up and haven't heard back, just explain how that process kind of works.
So we actually were at the service sports registration night and set up a table, and we had a lot of good questions and a lot of people stopping by to visit with us and see how it works to volunteer. We've got a lot of applications that we are sorting through, and we're going to be emailing out everyone to let them know when our next orientation is. So we like to kind of give an overview of how it works, and because we've got quite a few different programs. We have cat cuddling and playing with the cats. We have dog walking, and we have the Dog's Day Out, where you can actually sign out a shelter pet and take them for the afternoon, and take them for walks at Bud Miller, or take them to the pet store and buy them some treats so that they get a little break from the shelter area. So yeah, we will be emailing everybody and following up with them to start organizing all our volunteers, because we had such a great response and so many applications come through. So you will be hearing from us shortly.
Which is fantastic and a great way to, like you said, just hang out with some animals for a day or two. And take them out and about, and you know,
get your dog and cat fix.
And if you're, you know, questioning whether or not you should take the plunge and get your own pet, this is a perfect way to kind of test out the waters for sure. and it's great for the dogs getting out.
Yeah,
And
it's so good for them. We have a few volunteers that regularly come do the Dogs Day Out program, and the dogs are like so tired and so happy when they come back, and they always take like the best pictures. We had 8-Ball was out the other day, and he had one of those pup cups from Starbucks, so that was really cute to see him enjoying that. So
that's awesome. Now, same question every week. Any donations that you're in need of? We were talking earlier about cat food.
Yes, so we are in need of some adult and kitten kibble. We have lots of canned food, but we're in need of specifically adult kibble or kitten kibble food. We're also looking for, if you have harnesses to donate, more for dogs Carly's size, and we're hoping to find some that are for over the head because it's a little easier to put them on the excited dogs than the ones they have to step into. So we prefer that style, but really, of course, any donations help.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me a day early. And Carly, I have no doubt that she's going to make the perfect companion for really any household.
She's such a nice dog.
Our Shelby Clark speaks with a new author on her latest release called The Wise One.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is author Katie Engelhardt. Thank you so much for joining us today, Katrina.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, excited to speak, especially with new authors. You were saying before that you are just kind of starting to put out your work, and we're speaking on your newest release called The Wise One. Now, can you kind of explain what this one is all about?
So it's an urban fantasy for young adults, and it's about a teenager named McKenna who on her 17th birthday has a nightmare that she's being burned at the stake. And as of then, she finds that her abilities are heightened. She's always felt kind of weird and out of place, but that's when she realizes she's special. And her two dads, Sean and Andre, end up telling her the truth that she wasn't a surrogate. You know, it wasn't like this, like a perfect little fairy tale. It was her mother actually left when she was a baby, and her mother was special as well, and she has all of the answers that she's seeking. So she goes out to Ireland to find them and to hopefully find her birth mother.
All right. And this is book 1 of the Scottish Scrolls series. Now, this sounds very interesting. What can readers expect from the series as a whole?
Yeah. So the Ireland Scotland thing. So well, the second one takes place in Scotland, and Scotland does have a big place in the story. So that is why the Scottish Scrolls are there. I won't say too much about that because it is part of the prophecy and the mystery around that. So what they can expect, the first book is very much an enchanting journey across Ireland. So I was there with my husband for my honeymoon, and I completely fell in love with the place. And at the time, I was outlining my book. So all of the folklore I kind of absorbed, and the scenery that's stuck with me, and the amazing people I met along the way, and the culture I sort of fell in love with is all molded and entwined in the magic of the book. So I expect a lot of nature and enchantment and folklore and witchiness, lots of witchiness, and real life historical characters too that are kind of like there in the story. Like I did a lot of research because it was just so fascinating, and they're very much a big part of the story. For instance, a witch that was burned in Kilkenny. It's legendary in that town, and like anyway, that's part of the story as well. So if you love that sort of thing, this is for you. And it reads very, very, I would say, youthful, like in a Harry Potter way, where like a wide range of audiences would enjoy it.
And I like that you're comparing it to Harry Potter, because many adults nowadays, they still love reading those youthful novels. Doesn't matter how grown you get. So I think this is a great idea. Now, would you say that's really what inspired you to write this series?
Yeah, it was. I already sort of knew I had a fascination with Ireland and Scotland. And when it came down to where are we going for our honeymoon, I'm like, can we please go to these places before I die? And I was outlining the book. So it all just worked out beautifully. He loved them too. And we've been back to Scotland twice since. So.
Well, that's really awesome inspiration right there. Now, for people that may not have heard of you or about this novel or series, where can they find more information about this online?
Yeah, you can actually purchase it anywhere, any of your bookstores. It is also, of course, on Amazon. That might be the quickest way to get it. And yeah, if you want more news about it, you can go to my website, ktengelhardt.com. You can sign up to my newsletter, follow me on Instagram at kt_Engelhardt, and I'm around, and I'll be dropping hints for book 2, which is coming out very soon. I'll let you like segue into that. I'm sorry. stepped on that.
No, though, and that sounds really exciting. I know that book 2 should be out in November, isn't it?
Yes, November 16. Actually, incidentally, the release date of Harry Potter 1, the movie, but I swear I didn't time that. But anyway.
Well, I think right there, that means it's fate. I think that means it's fate with it coming around that same time. Now, is there anything else you'd like to add about the series or this newest novel that I may have missed out on, you want to let readers and fans know about?
Just enjoy the ride. I've been told it's a really quick, easy read. So I don't know if you're looking for that next series that you want to just escape to. It's very much an escapist type tale, and you want to, connect with your inner teen. This is it. This is the book for you.
Perfect, Katrina. I think you're going to see some strong supports, and I'm glad we could speak and help get the word out for any readers here in the border cities. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Shelby.
That's all for news. Sports is next, but first, here's a look at your closing market.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
The Lloydminster Composite High School Barons started their season off with an exhibition game against the Cold Lake Royals, and I was able to catch the exciting preseason matchup. The Barons, before starting their first regular season in the North Saskatchewan Football League, decided to invite an old rival from the Wheatland Football League and the Cold Lake Royals out for an exhibition game. It was a tough affair with players on both sides going all out on the field. The game started a bit slow with both teams' stout defenses on display, but finally, a breakthrough happened. Oh, he's gonna run. He's going. He's in there. Got in. The Barons would continue to use the momentum from that score, getting another touchdown later, ending the half with a 13-7 lead. The Barons would then sub in some of the younger players and rookies who may not get a lot of time to play during the regular season. While early in the second half, the Barons continued to get points, but the Royals were also getting points on the board. It was close, but the Barons were able to hold on to a 26-21 victory, and the players were happy with their performance.
I'm feeling pretty confident. The team as a whole played really physical. We were aggressive and we hit hard, and that's how you win football games.
With how hard hitting the game was, both teams experienced some injuries, and with a long season ahead, the opportunity might arise for some players to step up.
It's a grind out there. We're like gladiators. You got to step up throughout the entire game. You got to be resilient. The job's not done until it's done. You got to keep going, and if you get hurt, you got to step up. If you're a rookie, it's just a grind out there,
Head coach Kieran Link was happy with his team's performance, but would like to work on penalties, as the second half saw an abundance of penalties and yards lost for the Barons.
The second half took 5 years off my life here. There was tons of penalties, so there's lots of things to clean up. If we play that undisciplined against the teams in our league, we're gonna have a very sad, bad time. So we're confident we can do that. We'll get the guys coached up. That's our jobs as coaches, to make sure that we clean all that stuff up.
The Barons' first regular season game will be against North Battleford here at Armstrong Field on September 15th. Thomas Wildman, Primetime, local news. And now let's look at your egg prices. All right, so a quick look at your 7-day forecast. Throughout all of this week, it's going to be a high of 23 starting here on Tuesday. Then it'll finish out on Friday with 22 and a low of 21 there on Thursday. It's going to be quite cold, though, at night with 9 degrees to 8 degrees. And then throughout the weekend, we're going to see a little warmer temperature with Monday having a chance of rain.